Activists in Massachusetts moving to roll back the state's recreational marijuana laws, submitting over 70,000 signatures in an effort to get repeal on the ballot in next year's election. So the Bay State is one of 24 states with legal recreational marijuana. Let's bring in someone who has helped those efforts in Massachusetts. It's Kevin Sabet, CEO of Smart Approaches to Marijuana and author of One Nation Under the Influence. This caught my attention. I'm from Colorado, and I know that most people there think it was a terrible decision to be the first to legalize marijuana. I live in a state, in a city here, where you smell it everywhere. So what are the chances, as we show people a map, of where it's legalized now?
Well, thanks for having me, Dana. The chances are pretty good, actually, because we've seen this huge increase in young people using, and today's weed is not your Woodstock weed. It's been 100%. Genetically bred and engineered to be so much stronger than before. So it's causing things like psychosis, schizophrenia, violence, mental illness, school dropouts, things that boomers may not associate with weed from the 60s and 70s. It's a completely different drug causing all these problems.
What I say, it's not your parents' pot.
Exactly.
Right? It's not grown in a field in Kentucky anymore.
No.
It's manufactured in a lab, and it's much more intense than it's ever been. Here we go, though. The pushback. Almost 2/3 of Americans, according to this Gallup poll, 64% say, do you think it should be legal or not? And they say yes.
They do, but there's actually been a reduction in the last couple of years, as your graph is showing. There's been a huge drop-off among the GOP. And even among Democrats, this is not an issue that actually moves voters to actually go vote. It's not like one of these top 10 important, viable issues. Because, again, people are smelling it everywhere. The Massachusetts effort was started by a Harvard employee in Cambridge, which I think voted 98% for Hillary Clinton, because of the smell that's everywhere. It doesn't add to good quality of life. There's a big difference between commercializing weed and just not putting people in jail for it. I don't think we should arrest and lock people up, but why do we need to promote it with these candies and gummies and all of these products that are like 99%? They're blowing people's brains apart.
Okay, but I'm wondering about other pushback that we might not be hearing about.
Yes.
And that is because the idea, like in Colorado, was, all of this money will go to fund education. Okay. So then a lot of these states get addicted to the money that's coming in.
The money's been less than 0.1% of any state budget. So when you look at it from that perspective, it's not much money, but it's also costing us. So every car crash is about $1 million to $2 million, and there are tens of thousands of them. Every dropout, every person that's late to work. So it's actually costing a lot more money than it's bringing in.
0.1%, you say?
Less than 0.1%.
Less than
in any state.
Was that what the prediction was?
No, the predictions were billions. We were going to have schools paved with gold, streets paved with gold, and new schools and new this and that. We were going to have social justice. Let me tell you, the people making money are a small number of people from Wall Street and sort of the political class that are lobbying. It's definitely not black and brown people that are making money from this either. Actually, what we're doing is we're putting pot shops in poor communities. That's not helping them. They don't want it. So it's really been a disaster.
Okay, another thing here. Apparently the White House is considering fewer restrictions, right? Headline is Trump seeks to cut restrictions on marijuana through a planned order, right? It reads the president expected to direct agencies to reclassify marijuana as a Schedule III drug, similar to some common prescription painkillers. Now, do you believe those who advocated for pot, that they saw it as medicinally beneficial to many people? And a lot of doctors have made that argument. Or do you see the politicians buying into that argument, or do you think they were going for the money grab?
Well, it's very clear that the medical marijuana movement was a red herring to get people okay with weed again in the 90s and be okay with legalization. That's where the money came. These people did not want to stop at medical. Now, I don't care if you have 6 months to live, God forbid, with cancer or something. I don't care if you use methamphetamine, let alone marijuana. That's not what medical marijuana is about, though. It's been a ruse. This rescheduling is confusing because it actually doesn't really make it an FDA-approved drug. They wouldn't do that. I'm all in favor of doing those FDA trials, by the way. Do the studies. That's not what it does. What it does is give tax breaks to the existing medical marijuana companies, many of whom are donors to the president. That's what makes this very disturbing. And it will also send a bad message, because the headline, of course, is going to be marijuana downgraded. And the average 14-year-old will think, well, it's legal now. It's okay.
Right. And as parents, what you say. Last quick question. If you are a person that might want to sign one of these petitions, where do you go?
Go to learnaboutsam.org. That's our website, learnaboutsam.org. We'll connect you with the Massachusetts. There's many other states that are working on the back.
Kevin Sabet, thanks for being here.
Thanks
for having me.
We'll follow it. Thank you.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.